came over to drop off some homemade food, which was nice, I'll give her that. I had told her she could stop by after 4 p.m. since my girlfriend and I were having a lazy morning. But of course, she decided to show up 2 hours early with her spare key, which she has for emergencies. Well, my girlfriend and I were in the bedroom clearly busy when we heard my mother banging on the bedroom door. She was shouting my name and saying things like, "I know what you're doing in there and have some respect." I scrambled to throw on some clothes and went out and asked her what the hell she was doing here unannounced. She started yelling at me about how it was disgusting and inappropriate to be doing that while guests are over. I reminded her that this is my apartment. She wasn't supposed to be here yet. We're 2 consenting adults. She was having none of it. She called me disrespectful, said I had no manners, and even told my girlfriend that she should be ashamed, which, like, what the fuck? My girlfriend just walked out the room, grabbed her keys, and left because she wasn't dealing with that nonsense. I ended up arguing with my mom for 10 more minutes before telling her to leave and return the spare key. She refused at first, but I stood my ground until she finally handed it over. She left in a huff and later texted me saying she was deeply disappointed in how I spoke to her. Now my dad and sister are both telling me I was so harsh and that I shouldn't have put her in a situation. I argued that she put herself in that situation by showing up unannounced and barging into my home. Oh my god. Okay, so the comments say that he's not in the wrong, and I agree. I'm sorry, what's wrong with his mom? He's not in the wrong. They're 2 consenting adults. I feel like you should have not given your mom your spare key if you know that she's that overbearing, but you know, we all love our moms. Yeah, what's more to say than she's a little bit crazy and good for standing your ground, good for supporting, like standing your ground and standing up for yourself and your girlfriend and whatever, and you know, she's weird, but it was funny on the list to work it. 29 days ago. Oh god. Okay. I was just looking what DIL meant, but it's daughter-in-law. So, am I in the wrong for telling my daughter-in-law she's not a mother? Oh god, okay. I, 64F, have 3 kids and they are all married. This post is about my son and his wife, Jenny. Jenny struggles with infertility and she has no kids. My other son, daughter-in-law is expecting next month, and my daughter has recently had her own kid. So, she has 2 sons, 1 son and a daughter, like 1 son and his wife are expecting a kid. Her daughter has her grandson, and her 3rd kid's her 2nd son, and his wife Jenny, also thanked me for the basket in the chat. Jenny called me soon after and asked where her basket was. Oh my god. I was confused and asked what she meant. I thought she was pregnant and she was just telling me now. She clarified since I have 2 grandkids by her already and said her dog's names. I was even more confused at this, and she clarified that she's her dog's mother and should have gotten a basket. I told her she's not a mother. Mother's Day is for women that raise human children and not pet owners. She got really upset and cursed me out for not getting her basket and that she is a parent. My son is telling me to apologize and to send a Mother's Day basket over. He's calling me a jerk for not sending her a basket and telling her she is a pet owner. Oh god. I do not know what to say. A lot of people in the comments say she is not the asshole. I mean, in the wrong, I'm sorry. Okay, but I have a lot of opinions on this. So first, I get what the person that wrote it is coming from, that her daughter-in-law is not like a real mom, but I also think it's very insensitive to, it sounded like how she's wrote, like how she said it, I think it's very insensitive. People that struggle with infertility already know that they're not able to have biological kids, or that it's a bit, difficult, and I think you could have said it a bit more nicely, maybe, I don't know. Are your pets, are your pets your kids? I think it's very difficult to say that a pet is a child, because it's not a human kid, and it does, a pet does need responsibility and care, but it does not need the same care and responsibility that a human child would need, in my opinion. I don't know. For me, it's weird to, I don't have a dog, I have 2 bunnies, and I also joke, I say that they're my kids, but as a joke, I know that they're my pets. That doesn't mean that I love them any less. I still really much love them and I take care of them, but they're not my kids. I don't know how that changes when you have a cat or a dog, because they need even more attention and care than bunnies. Because bunnies are fine with being left alone for most of the time. They don't really want to be picked up and cuddled with. That's a big misunderstanding. So, I don't know. I think the situation is very difficult. I feel like you have to apologize to your daughter-in-law for how you said it, but I don't think you have to apologize for not sending her a basket, because but I think in the future, if they're really not able to have kids and they're suffering because of it, it would just be easier to send her a basket because she's a dog mom. I think that would, stop any future arguments or something like that. It's just a difficult situation. Okay. That one sounds funny. Am I in the wrong for locking my sister's kid in the bathroom for an hour? And the person says, or is saying that English is their second language. So let's begin. So yeah, like the title says, I locked my 6-year-old nephew in my bathroom for an hour, and my sister is furious and says I'm traumatized him. Last weekend, my 28 male sister, 26 female, asked me to watch her son Ryan for a few hours while she ran errands. I agreed, even though I'm not super comfortable around kids, but it was just a few hours and I figured we'd survive. At was fine. We watched a movie, he had some cheese, and I thought we were in the clear. But after about 30 or 40 minutes, he started getting more and more wild, like full-on chaos mode. He ran around my living room, knocking things over, dumped a bowl of popcorn on the floor, started throwing couch pillows. I told him to stop, tried offering him different things to do, but he ignored me. He then snuck into my bedroom, went through the drawers, found a Sharpie, and started drawing on the walls. When I tried to take it away, he tried to kick me. I called my sister, but she didn't pick up. It escalated fast. He chased my old dog into a corner and yanked her tail. She snapped at him, but not hard, but enough to scare him. He screamed like she mauled him and then threw a mug at her. That was it for me. I couldn't handle it anymore, and I didn't feel safe leaving him loose in the house. So I put him in the bathroom. I told him to sit in there and take a break until he could calm down. Then I locked the door from the outside. I sat outside the door for a while, talking to him every few minutes. At first he screamed and then started crying, then got quiet. After a while I went to clean up the mess in my bedroom and check on the dog. I figured it'd be fine. He wasn't in danger, just contained. I guess that's where I might be in the wrong. I ended up leaving him in there for closer to an hour. When my sister finally came to pick him up, he ran out crying and told her I locked him in the bathroom. She lost it. Said I was abusive. Said I traumatized him and now she won't speak to me. She's telling everyone in the family I locked up her kid, like I shoved him in a closet or something. A few relatives are on my side. Others say I went too far. I didn't scream at him. I didn't hit him. I didn't scare him. I just didn't know what else to do in that moment, and I wasn't about to let him break more of my stuff or hurt my dog. Okay. Oh, I like what a person commented here. Yeah. So the person commented, definitely not in the wrong, and while locking someone's kid away is bad, they did the responsible thing here. First, called a sis. She didn't pick up. Second, locked the kid away. After the feral child attacked an older dog. And third, spoke the kid by the bathroom and kept him company. That's good. Yeah, to be honest, I think you're not entirely was going under the speed limit the entire time. I told my girlfriend I'm planning to fight the ticket in court. She's really upset and says it's going to cause a lot of tension with her family. She thinks I should just pay the fine and move on even if I wasn't speeding. From my point of view, this isn't about her dad personally, it's purely about not wanting any marks against my license. She feels that by taking it to court, I'm basically accusing her dad of either lying or making a serious mistake, and I could put him in a really difficult position professionally and personally. She's worried this is going to cause a rift, not just between me and her dad, but possibly between her dad and her as well for being associated with me. I get where she's coming from, and I don't want to disrespect her dad or damage the relationship I've built with him. Honestly, we've always gotten along well, and he's a tough guy, but I respect him a lot, and I know he's just doing his job. I've never had a ticket before, and I pay for my own car and insurance, so something like this could raise my rates and stick with me, especially being so young. I'm not trying to be difficult, dramatic, or disrespectful. I just don't think it's right to let something slide that could impact me long term, especially when I have clear evidence that I wasn't speeding. I'm still planning on finding the ticket. I have the dashcam footage. I know I wasn't speeding, but my girlfriend is incredibly upset. She's been distant ever since I told her, and lately she's barely talking to me. I can tell she's really hurt and stressed about the whole thing. She keeps saying I'm choosing a stupid traffic ticket over her and her family, which is technically true, but that ticket comes with a lot more than just a one-time fine. I don't want to take the blame for something I didn't do, so I've already pled not guilty, and if the court hearing is scheduled for a few weeks out, I think this is the right move by putting my future first. So, okay, I personally think you're not in the wrong, and it's good if you go after the ticket and if you're able to, prove that you're innocent and that you are driving correctly. I think your girlfriend is very dramatic, but she's only like 18 years old, I feel like even like me, I'm 21 years old, even I think like about myself that in some situations I'm over dramatic because they're happening for the first time to me, and maybe that's what's happening here. Maybe she's just a little bit overreacting because she doesn't want her dad to get in trouble at work, but to be honest, everybody makes mistakes. We're humans and we're allowed to make mistakes even on a professional level. If he's a good cop and if he is, following his rules, and if by, his rules he thought he was right and he made a mistake, that's fair, I don't think he will get any, big consequences, everybody makes mistakes. Maybe the thing that he was tracking the speed with, maybe it had something that was wrong with it or something, so that it might not even it might have not even been her dad's fault, but the technical things he was using, I don't know how to say it in English properly, so I feel like you're not in the wrong for going over that. And to be honest, in the next